Finally, after nearly a year of faffing about, the takeover has gone through. We've been handed £45 million to spend in January, but we are in danger of getting knocked out of the Champions League in the group stages. Hello and welcome to part 170 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have a big Premier League game away against Southampton and then an even bigger Champions League game at home against Valencia. Since you were last with me, the big news really is the takeover. They've put in loads of money, they've invested in the training ground, they've given me £45 million to spend, which is all good stuff. I don't know what I'm going to spend it on though, because I've got no wage budget, because I've offered some new contracts to people. Charlie Jones, most notable now, on £165,000 a week, to stop him wanting to go to Manchester United. But we have just about got dynamics sorted. The one I'm a little bit worried about is Joksimovic still, who's out of contract at the end of next season and just will not discuss a contract. So we need to do something big and special this season. And in the league, we are doing big and special things. Arsenal, I'm no longer as worried about the 5-0 first day of the season beating we took, because they won their first 10 consecutive games of the season. They have just picked up their first defeat, but we are their nearest challengers at the moment. League form has been very, very good. We're in second place. We've picked up some big wins. We've beaten Tottenham. We've beaten Manchester United. We've beaten Chelsea. No, we drew against Chelsea. We've had some big results anyway. What we've also had, though, is some pretty poor performances in the Champions League. You saw the one against Valencia. We then lost away against Hibs as well. We did beat them in the return leg. But our Champions League group looks very precarious with 2 games to go, going into a home game against Valencia and an away game against Sporting. If we can beat Valencia now, or after the Southampton game, then we're just about through, and a draw against Sporting should be enough. It was supposed to be easier than this. Wolves are doing better in their group that contains Inter and Real Madrid, and last time I checked, Wolves were bottom of the Premier League. Oh, they've come off the bottom of the Premier League a little bit, but we should be performing better than we are in Europe. But before we worry about Europe, we've got the big game in the Premier League away against Southampton. We want to keep our momentum going in the Premier League, and this is the team that we're putting out there to do exactly that. We have, oh, by the way, another big injury. Maestra, fractured skull, out for 10 months, well, 4 to 7 months now. So he joins Nick Ripert on the very long-term injury list. Luckily, not so much of a massive loss. We have, believe it or not, adequate cover at attacking midfielder. But we do kind of want Ripert to come back sooner rather than later. Although I've now got £45 million to spend on a 23-year-old replacement, so I don't have to rely on old men like Ferguson and Diothin every time I get a centre-back injury. Brodic has also not yet got a contract. He's out of contract at the end of the season. We are trying to sort him a new contract imminently. So our team for today, we've got Vujicic in goal and a sore throat. A back four of Joksimovic, Brodic, Ferguson and Coupler, with Wanda, Caminero and Esteban in midfield, and then Fernandez in behind Kerr and Jones. Kieran Kerr is having a really rather good season. Charlie Jones, not so much. I think the pressure of the new contract and us appointing him captain in the summer, I don't know if we mentioned that, but we switched the captaincy from Wanda to Jones in the summer. As part of the whole trying to keep him at the club thing. He's got something like 17 goals in 15 England appearances now, Charlie Jones. He is England's best striker. He's the best. He was the top goal scorer in Europe last season. We did whatever we had to do to keep him at the club, but the combination of the big contract and the captaincy, there's a lot of weight of expectation on Charlie Jones's shoulders at the moment, but the other strikers have stepped up. Kerr and Alonso have both been excellent, and there is Kieran Kerr, but it goes straight at the Southampton keeper. Southampton, of course, are the team that Nogueira went to after he left us, and he did score a lot of goals for them last season. I didn't even notice if he was on the pitch for them today. I'm sure we'll notice him when he pops up and grabs a goal. There he is, look. Christian Nogueira got something like 15, 20 goals from last year, pushed Charlie Jones quite a long way for top goal scorer in the Premier League, which is mad really, because we had him for 3 years and he never made it close to double figures. But I guess Southampton is just a club that works for Nogueira. He wanted to be playing week in, week out, and he was never going to get that with us. But hopefully we can get Jones and or Kerr to overshadow him today. Fernandez plays it through to Kerr. Kerr's got Joksimovic on the overlap, but goes to Esteban instead, and he puts it out to Coupler, who crosses in towards Kieran Kerr, and that is a cracking save, and Jones fires the rebound into the side netting / a little bit of post. But that was a great save from the Southampton goalkeeper. Vujicic has now signed a new long-term contract as well, 5-year contract on close to £100,000 a week. So that's another one who's been trying to get away for a little while, tied down to a long deal. That's poor from Brodic. And we've given Southampton an opportunity here. We've got players out of position and they've scored. Oh, we have to put that one down to Brodic. Between him and considering Brodic and Ferguson have got the best understanding of any of our centre-back partnerships, they've played together quite a lot over the last 3 years. That was awful. Ferguson's just hit it really hard into Brodic's shins. I don't know which one I blame more for that. It was just a little bit incompetent all round. And Vujicic, you might have expected him to do a little bit better with that. We did give Oliveira a run of a couple of games. After the last episode, I threatened that I would. I did. And as part of giving him a couple of games, it seems to have put a rocket back up the backside of Vujicic. He then signed his new contract. And I thought all was good in the world of Vujicic again. But that was poor. And that is not. That's Wanda. And that's brilliant. I was just saying how Charlie Jones is feeling the pressure of being captain. I think Wanda's been freed by not having the responsibility of being our captain and team leader anymore. He's not even on the team leaders list. He's dropped down to highly influential now as a part of having the captaincy taken off of him. But he's playing with more freedom than he's ever played with before. I think that's his second or third goal of the season. He's never done that before. He's back in the Brazil squad that he's not been in for years. Wanda's having this season of his life at age 27, 28, when he was this close to going over to China this summer. If we'd have been able to find a decent replacement for him, he'd be earning 400 grand a week playing in China now, and you'd write off the rest of his career at his age. But he stuck around because we turned down the deal in the end, and he's playing really rather well. And it's handy having that extra little bit of experience in midfield without having to burden him with being captain. There is Jones. Back to Caminero. Fernandez, Esteban. Coupler's on the overlap again, but Esteban, in fact, he does find Coupler, and it's back to Esteban, and the highlight ends. And I'm trying to decide which striker I bring on first, because we've got loads of good strikers now. Let's bring Stoyanov on for Jones, because Jones just isn't playing very well. And we'll just swap those two over, get Kerr playing as the advance forward, which is where Kerr's been playing most of the time recently. So it makes sense to get him back into that position because that's where he's scoring all his goals. Fernandez, cross to Wanda. Wanda again. My word. Is that, as the highlight says at the bottom, absolutely stupendous from Wanda. I don't know where it's coming from because he's always been amazing for us. He's always been the heartbeat of the team. But all of a sudden, I think it's because he knows we don't really need him anymore the way we used to. He's obviously still going to be first choice midfielder for as long as he's with us probably, but we wouldn't fall apart if he wasn't there the way it was for a long time. And I think he's loving it. Right, we're going to take Kerr off now, bring on Alonso, stick Stoyanov as the advance forward, and just again trying different strike partner combinations. We've got so many good attacking players now that we're just constantly swapping and changing them and shuffling the team around, and it's rather good fun. I'm like a modern day Rafa Benitez. Right, Caminero can come off for Centurion. I mean, it's just nice. I've never had this much quality sat on the bench. We've got Nuhu sat there on the bench, and I haven't even considered bringing him on. There's been no reason to put him into this game. We've cruised through. I know it's only 2-1 and we could concede an equaliser yet, but we've been in control of the game. Look at the stats. Fernandez has been excellent, picking up 2 assists. Wanda's been excellent with his 2 goals. Where do you put Nuhu into the team? I guess Esteban maybe comes off on the right-hand side of midfield if you're going to make a change at all. But is Nuhu that effective in that position? We have conceded the equaliser because I'm talking about cruising and controlling the game. And you lot are all saying, Curve, if you'd have played Nuhu, he'd have scored. Yeah, he probably would have done. But the Champions League game's more important anyway. That's the one we want to win. I'm such a liar. I want to win the Premier League this year. We're not going to win the Champions League this season. We could win the Premier League this season because the team running away with it at the moment are Arsenal, who were mid-table last year. So with Man City, Man United and Wolves all faltering, we're the only one of last season's Champions League qualifiers who are having a half-decent season. That feels like an open door to me. And we've just sort of stumbled across the mat and taken half a knee. And we need to dust ourselves off and sort ourselves out again for the Brighton game. But first, we must beat Valencia if we're going to stay in the Champions League. Just the one change for the Valencia game. We've brought Alonso back in up front at the expense of Kerr. Alonso and Kerr are our 2 top scorers this season, but they're joint on only 6 goals. We need one of them to kick off a partnership with Jones, and quickly. And we need Jones to start scoring again. I don't really want to drop him. He's our captain. He's the best striker in Europe. We might have to, if he doesn't perform today, if we get knocked out of the Champions League because we're relying too much on Charlie Jones and he's out of form, for the next game we start Alonso and Kerr together and we give them a little bit of a run. But we've got to give Jones an opportunity. Brodic has signed his new contract, by the way. It's just a 2-year extension. He agreed to sign on for 10 grand a week as a backup player. It does make me question whether Brodic is as good as I think he is. He's the only ever present player in our team this season, and his opinion of himself in game is that he doesn't need a lot of money. I'm happy to earn less than a mid-table championship player, and you don't need to ever pick me. I'm 25 and a current international. Come on, Patrick, believe in yourself a little bit more. Or maybe he's not any good. Perhaps I do need a proper replacement for him. When Ripert's fit again, perhaps we go Ferguson and Ripert. Just don't know if I can bring myself to do it. Alonso here, and he's won a penalty. Marvellous stuff. And it's Caminero to take. It feels wrong taking a penalty and not having Nuhu take it. He's been our penalty taker for so long now. I don't know if Caminero can hit a penalty. We're about to find out, I guess. Apparently not. Perhaps I should start playing Nuhu. He is on the bench. We'll let him in. We'll let him back into the team eventually. We've been all over Valencia in this first 15 minutes. Brodic has been absolutely ruined there. But luckily their striker just fires well over. Hibs are beating Sporting. As it stands right now, Hibs are going to be through to the next round, and it is going to be a straight fight between us, Valencia and Sporting. I really regret dissing Hibs in was it the last episode or the one before, when I talked about how they were no threat at all. I thought Alonso had just scored an absolute screamer, but apparently not. We are struggling away from home in the Champions League as well, so we really do need to win this one. A win against Valencia and we've got 1 foot in the next round. If we have to go to Sporting knowing we need a result, we haven't yet picked up a point away from home in the Champions League this season. Wander's just done it again. I had a little look after the last game, between these 2 games. In Wander's career, he's never scored more than 2 goals in a season until this season. He's got 3 goals this episode, and all 3 of them have been complete Wander goals. What a strike from Wander. And as it stands, both us and Hibs are pretty much there. Hibs are there, and we're all but rubber stamped, knowing that we'd really just need to do better against Sporting than Valencia do against Hibs, if it stays as it is right now. And I think that's a situation I can afford to be in based on the form that Hibs are in. They've just been ridiculous. I don't understand how they're topping this group. I don't understand how it's Hibs and Nuneaton top of a group that have got Valencia and Sporting in. It's awesome. Right. We're closing in on substitution o'clock. I thought that was a little red one for me. Both Fernandez and Alonso have been a little bit rubbish, so I think Nuhu and Kerr. It's a nice substitution to be able to make with 25 minutes to go in a Champions League game. 2 of our best players from ever. I was going to say from the last few years, which means ever. 2 of the best players in the history of the football club are sat there on the bench ready to come on and try and ease this game home. Vujicic, don't do anything stupid. I don't like the fact this is a long highlight. It suggests there's a goal coming. I just hope it's coming at our end. It's Caminero in midfield, but loses out. And now Valencia are coming back at us again. This feels like the goal move. If I know the match engine the way I think I do, I don't know the match engine very well at all. That was a weird highlight, wasn't it? Right, we're going to make that double substitution I was just talking about. So we're going to have Kerr and Nuhu coming on with 25 minutes to go. And we're going to swap Kerr and Jones over because Kerr is the man in form. We want to be playing him in his strongest position. Jones can play out of position. Well, it's not even that he's out of position. As we established a few episodes ago, this is the way around I should have been playing them for 2 years. Jones crosses into Nuhu. And now we have got a penalty. And it's Nuhu to take it. Is he going to show Caminero how it's done? Nuhu to make it 2-0 on 68 minutes. Well, shut you lot up at least. Nuhu, we've now missed 2 penalties. It feels like we're not destined to have much of a Champions League run this season. And the cross comes in. I thought we'd given away a penalty of our own there, but it's Ferguson. Very out of position, just get rid of the ball. Finds Kerr, and that was actually a decent pass. And Kerr, infield to Nuhu. Can we have some Nuhu specials? A bit of Nuhu magic. Nuhu finds Jones. There's Kerr. Kerr forcing the save. And we do look lively. We've had 4 clear-cut chances to their 0. I know 2 of them have been penalties, but we are absolutely dominating this game. Similar to Southampton, we're playing very, very, very well, but we don't have that cutting edge in front of goal. Jones is out of form, who's been out of the team. We're missing our top goal scorers. What's just happened? Was that offside? Okay, that was offside. Who else have we got on the bench to try and grab a winner? We've got Stoyanov, we've got Centurion. Both of them potential difference makers. I think we're going to take off Jones and bring on Stoyanov. I'm toying with the idea of bringing on Centurion and going to the 4-3-2-1. Let's play Champions League football the way you're supposed to play it. We're not going to go defensive or anything, but let's just drop a player back a little bit. Shall we make you that? I know we've got a lot of playmaker in there now, but that just feels like the safer, more sense. We're not scoring goals anyway. This will either be the moment of genius where Kev became a big boy manager, or the stupidest thing I've ever done and we're about to go out of the Champions League. And we'll find out in the next 10 minutes. Yikes. Right, can we please just grab a couple of goals? Let's have 2 goals in the last 10 minutes to show that I'm a genius. Ball over the top for Kerr. Kerr is through, and that's our 3rd penalty of the game. Nuhu to take again. Surely we're not going to miss a 3rd penalty of the match. This is just hideous. Finally, Nuhu tucks away a penalty at the 3rd time of asking, and with 10 minutes left on the clock, we're 2-0 up, having absolutely dominated this entire game. And surely at this point, we're just about through into the knockout round of the Champions League. Something spectacular has to go wrong from here for us not to book a place in the next round. At the first time of asking, I might add. We've struggled a little bit through the group, but it looks like we should just about make it through. What we need to do now is go to Sporting and try and get a result in the hopes that we can then top the group and get a better draw for the next round. So the next round seeded, is it? Group winners against second place? I think that's how the Champions League works. So we'd kind of like to play a second place team, although looking at some of the second place teams, Real Madrid, Dortmund, Man United. So it makes no difference. It's the Champions League. And we've conceded a goal, and there's still probably 5 minutes or so left to play. And we might... here's Kev doing it again. We've just done it in the last game and I've learnt nothing. I'm deciding what tie I want in the next round. And if we concede another goal here, we're not going to get into the next round because we're not going to go to Sporting and win. We don't win away from home in the Champions League. Nuhu, crossbar from miles away. There's still 3 minutes left. We need a hero to step up. And, they're attacking again. Ferguson, that was pretty heroic, actually. A slide tackle from behind that he gets away with. Nuhu's chasing down. 2 minutes left now. And Coupler, brilliant interception. Ball over the top to Kerr, but he can't quite get beyond the last man. And I get the feeling this is going to be one long highlight to end the game, just to really torture me, because Football Manager loves to do that. Esteban picks the ball up in midfield. Ball over the top for Kerr again. Surely this time. Now Kerr has hit the crossbar. Both Nuhu and Kerr have hit the crossbar in the last 5 minutes of this game. We've had 3 penalties and missed 2 of them. Surely we're not going to throw it away from here in these final 30 seconds. This is mad. Look at the state of those stats. We have dominated this game from start to finish. And it's Kieran Kerr and forces a save out the keeper. With 10 seconds left, we have a corner. And surely this is going to be enough now. Esteban to take. Cross comes in. Centurion's there. And we force another corner. And hopefully we're just filling time now. And we do. The match is over. We're all but there into the next round. We just need to not do anything stupid in the final match and hope Hibs take care of Valencia. That was hard work. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.